putting your regulatory hat on, what are those 2 million people? What should they be waiting for in terms of tax rules on their digital assets?
Don't make me put my regulator hat back on, Emily. It was so much fun to take it off years ago. But no, the rollout of crypto wallets is a big event here at Robinhood. The refrain we heard from customers time and time again in social media elsewhere was win wallets. And we were obviously hard at work behind the scenes trying to put together the technology to offer this to customers. So finally getting to the stage of rolling it out is just great excitement. And it's a good feel here at Robinhood anytime we are able to give our customers what they so sorely ask for and need.
Okay, but there's also great uncertainty about what regulation lies ahead. What should anyone who owns a digital asset these days be preparing for in terms of tax rules and other issues?
Yeah, look, obviously the tax status is something that you've seen played with in Congress and various bills that weren't germane necessarily to cryptocurrency, but through little riders and things, there have been various tax implications with crypto that have arisen over the years. At Robinhood, obviously, our main business, our traditional business is brokerage, and we are fully compliant in the way that we roll out tax notices and all the tax documentation our customers need, and we apply that to our crypto offering too. So we're feeling really well prepared to serve our customers in that regard, and I think other platforms are going to have to catch up when tax reporting requirements are applied to them specifically.
And given your former regulatory position, I know you are also talking with regulators often. What regulation are you preparing for in terms of how it's going to impact Robinhood, not just on the crypto front, but across the platform? Regulators have a lot of questions. Yeah,
look, it's a heretofore uncharted regulatory territory. Kind of reminds you of the OTC derivative space in the years before the financial crisis. A lot of interest, a lot of customer interest, and you've seen the rise in crypto ownership by retail investors in the U.S. I think some measures I've seen $3 trillion. So a really important asset class to pay attention to, a really important asset class not to kill in the crib. That's as policymakers look into us, it doesn't mean they need to bring their hammer and look for every nail. At Robinhood, we obviously strive to roll out a safe product to our customers, one that has guardrails around it and education, transparency on fees and the like, and notably, quality execution, which is something you don't hear about too much in the crypto space. We bring that DNA from our brokerage side into crypto, and we're focusing more and more on just ensuring that our customers get great execution. And Emily, on the regulatory side, the one thing that's really interesting that we're doing, you've heard the SEC, you've heard Chair Gensler in particular say, to you crypto platforms, come on in and talk to us, come on in and register. I spent a lot of time at the SEC and it wasn't exactly sure what the contours of that registration might look like, but we've engaged with the SEC. We've had a few meetings with the staff and we're trying to flesh out, what would this look like to be an SEC registered platform? I'm not sure, quite frankly, where it's going to lead us, but the SEC staff has been very receptive, and we're engaging in some pretty substantive discussions with them about what it might look like.
Well, it's been a year since that big GameStop moment, and in a blog post last month, you said you never want your customers to be surprised with trading restrictions again. What's the message to retail investors that are considering Robinhood now? How can you give them confidence that won't happen again?
Look, I mean, there was no bigger trauma in the history of Robinhood than having to stop the buying in certain, very, very popular meme stocks a year ago, right? It's just antithetical to our whole mission and purpose is to cease trading in any flavor. And obviously, our customers let us know how they felt about it. They didn't like it, and reputationally, it was not a good look for us. So we felt it, we hear the pain of our customers, and we've done everything in our power to ensure that something like that never happens again. We're sitting right now, Emily, on 5 times the amount of regulatory net capital in our clearing firm, Robinhood Securities, that we had last year at this time. We had 500 million then, we have 2.7 billion sitting in regulatory net capital. That puts us, by the way, in the general vicinity of some of the mega investment banks on Wall Street. So we went out, raised the money. That money is committed effectively to our customers by locking it up in regulatory capital and ensuring that we have that massive backstop to ensure that restrictions never need to be applied again.
Meantime, the price of Robinhood shares has declined significantly over the last year. And I'm curious, you're facing several class action lawsuits. What's your general response to these?
Look, I mean, Robinhood, like other fintech and financial services firms and tech firms over the last several months, has encountered some macro headwinds, right? If you look at the performance of this sector generally, I think, we largely mirror that. And these things, work in cycles. And, for me, for Vlad and the rest of the management team at Robinhood, we get it. We're playing the long game here. We're building great products that customers want. We're focusing on customers and products and safety first. And we're not really looking at the stock price worrying about that. On the class action side of things, I mean, this is life in America as a public company. You have plaintiffs firms that just live for stock movement in a negative direction, and they'll come in and sue. I feel very confident in that context that we'll prevail on the merits, that there's no justification for it.
Meantime, there is still SEC interest in the gamification of markets. There's this suit from the state of Massachusetts saying you're taking advantage of young, inexperienced investors. What are the chances you might settle here? Are there any changes that you might accept from the state?
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate that we had to litigate with Massachusetts, but, unfortunately, they dropped a very unfounded complaint against us, making allegations that simply aren't true. One problem we're facing at Robinhood as a disruptor is, we've brought to bear technology in a very old marketplace, the brokerage marketplace, that has disrupted everything. We've dropped fees. We've brought in a whole new generation of investors, right? And if you look at Emily Fed data showing the rise in retail investing over the last 5 years, the rise is really incredible. The diversity of the new investors is amazing, effectively doubling in the last 5 years. Right. And that tracks pretty closely to the rise of Robinhood. So we feel really, really good about bringing these people into markets that had been shut for years to them. And I think regulators, whether it be Massachusetts or elsewhere, they need to kind of get with the times, right? The old rule books don't necessarily apply. And quite frankly, in some instances, the old rule books, shouldn't have been applied, as with the Massachusetts complaint.